Greetings, everybody. I haven't checked in with you guys in a while. There's been quite a lot going on in my life, as there's always a lot going on in my life lately. But some updates. I'm just working on building my security career, doing some very interesting things with a private security company here in Florida. Keeps me busy most of the time. I just moved into uh, my first apartment ever that I've lived in my whole life by myself. I'm like over the moon. It's incredible. It feels like unreal to me. Um, I wrote a post on my Facebook the other day like, "Bitch, what were you doing in your 20s?" I was putrefacting. I was rotting such that the rot would eventually become a fertilizer. The the profound inertia of so much time that I spent alone, just up in the middle of nowhere, completely socially isolated, making content for you lovely people, and doing my spiritual practice, and also, having some issues with substances. And I drank a little bit too much back then, and Tamogun, yeah, coping and saying that, but I've come out of that phase in my life, and this isn't going to be a video talking about my life, so I don't want to go off about that. Um, so I should go live sometime and give you guys an update of my life, since I was making a lot of content for you guys. It's been a long time. Hi, Mulder D. Coveney. I do not know who that is. Welcome. So, like I was saying, I'm going to just record this video with the idea that record it as a video with the idea that somebody, so people will just watch it after it compiles. But I will also try to hold the space for some people to join and see if we can do a group session of pineal gland activation. So if you guys are, I'm trying to be quiet, apologize. If you guys are new to my channel, if you haven't been following me for a long time, my YouTube channel, Shakti Butts here too, is very old. Um, I was saying when I was trying to go on TikTok that I'm something of an elder god of the internet. I've witnessed the internet's birth and gestation in the form that it's in now. And I guess you could call me something like an influencer, um, maybe over 10 years ago, before that term was there. I remember my former business partner, Niraj, he's doing very well now with himself. He's got his own little spiritual business going on in Spain. He's doing fantastic. Um, Great guy. I need to work with him more, but um, he told me way back then that I was a quote unquote content creator. I didn't never even heard that term. I didn't know what it was. So I made content back then, and to the point, the type of was the my big thing, like my niche or my gimmick was pineal gland activation. So if you've heard that term before, maybe you've heard Joe Rogan or somebody say it. Um, I pretty much originated that meme by making some videos that got several million views back on early YouTube in that kind of um, type of you call it like a frequency type meditation. A lot of these videos that say things like pineal gland activation, they're not, they don't know, they're just trying to take advantage of that niche. They don't, it's not really what it is and what I intended it to be. um, what they're doing is just taking some frequencies or something like that and twisting them around, generated by a computer. What I was doing when I first started doing meditations with people, people were telling me that they would feel things in their forehead, the same as I had felt it when I had this Kundalini um, experience that first started my spiritual path way back in the day. Again, when I started making videos and stuff like that. Um, the same internal experience that I was feeling and seeing, like seeing lights, feeling sensations of energy and things like that going through my body. People started to tell me that they had been feeling the same things when we would host these group sessions. So I learned quickly, and that's where the name Shaktipat comes from, that something about the Kundalini in my aura is able to transmit through the computer, through sound, through, I mean, you look at the definition of Shaktipat, which means the dissension of spiritual power. It's capable, it says on the Wikipedia article that Sadhgurus would send it with a flower or, Kundalini Shakti is the energy of the living beings. So it's something, it's a transmission that happens deep in the inner core of, of our consciousness. So anyway, I started noticing early on when I would host these group meditations that people were telling me that they were experiencing these same sensations. When we would do our group sessions, they would feel, um, power flowing through their body. They would see lights and visions and things like that. Um, so, what I would do is I would record myself, or I would take an audio from a video, from a meditation or something like that I'd recorded, and I was making music also at the time. I was like a producer, so I would put it through. I think I was using Reason or Fruity Loops or something. I would put it through one of those software programs, and I would make it into like a rhythmic kind of meditative pulse. And when you watch these videos, when you sit down and meditate with them, you'll feel like an air, like an air opening in your forehead. You'll feel like it's like a second wind or something like that, like a magnetic vortex. You'll feel it in your head. So that's what I did with pineal gland activation videos, and that's where that came from. Of course, like with anything with the internet, everything is watered down and the meaning is lost, and what predominates is who can market the most effectively. But regardless, so since I explained that, let's talk about a little bit about. I don't know everything about this this phenomena going on. Um, and my video Sacred Secrets of the Pineal Gland, which was one of the the first year or two after YouTube started, got 1 million views and really started people talking about these kind of things. I don't know. I in that video I just talked about, you know my inner experiences, and I said things like that, this inner blue light, from the pineal gland, that it's a portal into another world, and when you die your soul will kind of just go into it. Now I don't know those things, but I know them deeply and intuitively, through my experience. So, my experience is like that there's a whole nother set of senses. There's a whole nother set of space inward into my experience, like not just a metaphysical, I mean not just like a theoretical space, but a a actual tangible experienceable, um, phenomena, or body, I guess you could call it light body. Um, and again, this is nothing special about me other than that the veil is slightly thinner. All of us, are connected to the kayas, connected to the light body, connected to the inner space of this spiritual dimension. The difference is that I can see it, I can taste it, I can touch it right now, and through these type of group sessions together, you can also experience these things. So what I was gonna say is that, and I did say that, is that I don't. I've spent almost 15 years now reflecting on these things, pondering my orb, and I have a lot of insights from doing so. Now, this it's like Terence McKenna called it the transcendental object at the end of time. The point that I want to keep making is that we're talking about an object, we're talking about an existing thing, we're talking about something as tangible as your hands, this body of light, or this whatever that it is. So in the same way that that a person would examine a crystal ball, or examine do I have batteries for this thing? Let's have batteries. In the same way that you can look at this and you can make inferences about it, right? There's triangles on this thing, right? It's kind of half spherical. In the same way that you can look at this and make inferences about it, there is an inner thing, an inner ontological, an inner object, an inner space, an inner light, an inner magnetic liquid, amrita, it's hard to describe, but the point being is that it's a reality that you can make inferences about. And now, for the last 15 years, besides living my life, I have been deeply reflecting, making inferences about this Mani gem, about this philosopher's stone, about this transcendental reality that's inside of your head, in the center of your brain, um, and that seems to be there's the either the prana comes into the forehead, or there's some kind of projecting going on or something like that. But I know that the pineal gland is in the center of the brain, but I experience the most power in my forehead. It's like right in between the eyes. And I know that according to Vajrayana, that there's a like the central channel is supposed to terminate right there. So that's apparently where the kundalini and the prana, um, where the prana enters the kundalini. So you're drawing in this spiritual wind from the elements, from the sun, from the surround, and it's charging the kundalini right here, and also at the base of the spine is another terminus of the central channel. But I digress, I'm getting off topic. The point is that there's a real subtle body, let's call it a body, let's call it a body, even though it's not experienced the same way as a physical body, in the same way that your consciousness is like entered into it, is in the same way that it has senses, in the same way that it's a basis of some type of sensory experience, in the same way that it's experienced from the inside out, and this, so you call it Merkaba or whatever you want to call it. There, the point is that there is a tangible existing reality that completely overrides the matrix. It completely overrides what you see with your physical body and your physical senses. So much like a dream, this inner experience of this light body, it overrides the waking consciousness experience. So every assumption that you have about your ego, or about who you are, your identity, every assumption about those things is completely nullified. So when you focus your attention completely on this transcendental object, your sense of self is completely evaporated. Well, your old sense of self, and that temporal linear story that you tell yourself about your identity, it can't exist. It's like the shadows and the sunlight example, right? Or like the sun and the clouds. The sun comes out, the clouds part. Same with when you focus completely on this. I think Buddhism would call it bodhicitta, which is basically the kundalini, is what they're talking about. So bodhicitta, when you focus on the kundalini, let's just say that. Okay, so the kundalini is this power, and it generates this body, this ideal light body based on super intelligence, based on buddhi. So it generates this ideal light body. Anyway, so point I'm trying to make is that just like you can make inferences about an object that you hold in your hand, when you have an experience of the inner self, the kundalini, the light body, when you have an experience of these inner senses, this inner spiritual reality, you can make inferences about it. You can say it's like this, it's not like that, and in so doing, you have a a real understanding and a real perception of the truth, um, of the spiritual self, of our spiritual side, of our spirit. You say it like that, I guess. So, hi, Dark Fool. So so the question, I'm saying this to you. I'm saying this to you from a vantage point of someone who has been reflecting on this inner light, this inner hyper intelligent energy. Um, what was his name? Philip K. Dick. He called it Valis in his sci-fi series. This hyper intelligent uh, light. I've been reflecting on it for 15 years, and I accept it as an over. It's a type of reality that overrides everything else. So you have to throw everything else out the window. You have to throw every assumption about everything from everyone out the window. Now that's part one. That's the most important thing to do. And once you can arrive at that, nobody's able to move you. My wrathful deity that I practice called Achala. It means immovable. So the Buddha, the absolute reality, that let's say that is immovable. Why is it immovable? Because it's a non-dual hyper intelligence outside of time and space, outside of relative reality, and it overrides relative reality. I don't know how to put this in better words. I'm trying to explain my inner experience. It's like a wrathful deity, basically. Wrathful deities destroy demons, they destroy ignorance, they completely obliterate it, right? So that non-dual consciousness described as like a vajra, right, like a thunderbolt, its presence, its power is such that it just obliterates death. Even there's another deity that we practice called Yamantaka. It's just another form of the same transcendental hyperintelligence. Yamantaka means the terminator of death. So everything that's manifest, birth, death, becoming, old age, etc., all of those elements, those bhavas, all those elements of manifestation are completely overrode by that primordial hyper intelligence. And so death itself is destroyed. Achala, it's completely immovable. So when you see, and I'm telling you this because unless you've been doing my Shaktipat meditations, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know this transcendental energy and experience, or you do to some degree. I'm talking about the full force of this thing, which is like a thunderbolt that overrides the matrix completely. Now, if you can experience that, and if you use my practice, my meditations that I upload, I don't have a lot of them uploaded right now, but I need to do more of these sessions with you guys. If you are able to experience that transcendental thunderbolt like hyper intelligence, you'll develop a mental faculty that you can just completely override. Like you just you can exist in reality as if it's an illusion, right? You don't take it to be real completely. It has no power over you at all. So it's liberation. And that all that comes from is just being aware of what's inside of us. Now, because it's like two bodies, right? It's like two bodies. The inner experience of the pineal gland, of the light body, the hyperintelligence, it's one body. The other body, of course, our physical body, with our physical senses and our physical distractions and our desires and our attachments and our aversions, all that muck which ties us to becoming. They can't exist at the same time. Only one exists at the same time. So if you let your vibration fall, you know what I mean? If you sin, if you do bad karma, if you know, smoke crack, if you drink alcohol, if you watch TV, if you go on social media, all those things are tied into a nexus of becoming. So you become like those things. You be ground. You be stuck. You be Your consciousness will revert into the physical body and all of its neuroses and things like that, and you won't be able to experience the transcendental hyperintelligence body, the light body. Now, if you sit down with Shaktipat Seer and you take a deep breath, and you keep your back straight, and if you slowly purify those lower vibrations, you'll start to be able to experience that. And because those two bodies can't exist at the same time, when you're in that, it overrides, it overwhelms the lower body. You won't even feel your body. You won't experience your senses. You won't desire to go on social media. You won't desire alcohol. You won't desire drama. You won't desire revenge and petty jealousies and all those things connected to the the body, the physical body, and the identity around that, and the interconnections and the karmas and all that stuff. Because it's not connected to any of those things, when it exists, all those things evaporate. Poof. It's not enough to just feel concentration, or it's not enough to just feel a little bit of peace, and you light your scented candles, and the spiritual materialism in nowadays is, forget about it. It's not even spiritual anything. It's just materialism. There's no spiritual anything anywhere. And people get tattoos, and they wear crystal jewelry solely for the need to feel validated. It's a copycat identity. It's not real. So I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about the Kundalini. You need to it's a physical, let's say physical, fine. It's a type of physical, spiritually physical experience. Just the same as I'm looking at this, or the same as I can touch my hands. It's a physical experience. Now, unless you have that physical experience, it's not enough. And you need to do practice until you get to touch it. All right, so that's where we come in. I think you listened to me ramble on enough. Let's do a group meditation together. No leaving. I already got you. So sit up straight. That's the most important thing in meditation, is posture. If you can hold the posture, then we're good. Sorry guys, I apologize. My phone's about to die. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to go live on my PC, so give me a second, I'll be right back. I'll go live on my computer.